Mixta, time for the Mixta, come get your Mixta.
Yo, Mixta Boyz back up in this bitch.
We back.
It's your boy Max.
Two cheese.
And Fats. And we come with the review of this weekend's fights, man. We got UFC and Boxing, two big fights.
Some good ones.
Boxing being bigger, so we're going to go ahead and start off with that UFC.
Man, it was
we're going to start off with the prelims. Let's start with the prelims.
The prelims to Brian Ortega and the Korean Zombie. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did not watch the prelims.
I didn't watch not one bit.
Barely watched the full card of Ortega.
Same.
I just want to see the main event. That's all I signed up to see, right?
Number one contender fight, basically.
But this fight right here between Gamrot and whatever his name is, I mean, I ain't even gonna attempt that shit. This shit was worth noting because the guy that won actually said that he lost as soon as the announcement was made. So as soon as they went to interview him about his win in the ring, he straight said, I think he's some Russian dude or at least somewhere from over there, and he's like, I'm just an honest man, and this is number one bullshit. I didn't win this fight. Like,
yeah, I did see that. I seen that on the little highlights and shit.
Yeah, he was just saying, like, as a fighter, you know, when you win and you didn't win, and he's like, he told the other guy sorry, and that he knows the other guy won the fight. So it'll be interesting to see what the UFC does with this. We already saw them give Aldo a title match with Jan after he lost to Moraes because of it looking like the other guy won. So maybe, you know, they'll move this guy ahead or whatever.
Probably fast track him.
You know, forgive the voice and shit, but you know, I got the allergies acting up today, so we got to put a plug in it. So this is going to be the main card right here.
I didn't really watch it.
I didn't watch it either. I do. Let's see who won at least. Oh, so Alameda lost again, which, I mean, he was a title contender for a little while. He was, you know, he was up there.
Looking hot.
Yeah, he's been on the decline for a little bit. I don't know who Jonathan Martinez is, but congrats to him. Decision win. Next fight, we got Cross, decision win over Silva. I do know who Cross is. I don't know who Silva is, so
Nope.
There goes that. Crew knocked out Bukaskas.
Yeah, I watched this fight. Yeah,
You saw that one?
yeah. This is the Australian dude.
Hey, what's up with that? Just that right there.
That's what I was looking at. It's the umbrella.
It's that zombie umbrella company.
Yeah. Resident Evil.
That.
It's Resident Evil. Don't look at it.
Okay,
All
okay.
right. So onto the knockout of the night.
That was a good
Knockout of
fight.
the night?
Yeah.
So I didn't see this either, man.
Well,
It was a good fight.
yeah. Jessica Andrade moved up the weight class, so she's not at 125. She's not at 115 anymore. She's at 125. And
Okay.
she transferred the power and basically punched her twice into the ovaries. And Caitlyn,
No, she got her with massive body shots.
Yeah.
it was
Crazy
two
body
of them.
shots?
But they were in that section.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't
it's
the
like
lower
the lower
section.
stomach,
Yeah.
upper.
Oh,
vagina.
she immediately just like
Stopped.
stopped and just grabbed her stomach.
Oh,
Yeah.
she was
And,
done.
Yeah, it was over.
I mean, see, in boxing, you can't even hit right there. In boxing, it's got to be navel and up, pretty much, you know. So in UFC, it's like as long as it's not the dick or the vagina, you're good.
Yeah.
So congrats to her. I mean, I was at a barbecue pumpkin carving this shit. So like these are kind of the background. I kind of looked back and forth.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But when the main event came on, I tuned in for all 5 rounds, every minute. Couldn't be bothered.
distractions. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Got all my family time and shit. You know, talking with people beforehand. But when that fight came on, it was go time. And I mean, it didn't disappoint. But it wasn't close.
No.
Oh no! As
Ortega.
a matter of fact, we've seen a whole different Brian Ortega.
Fuck
Yes.
Than what we've
Yes.
seen before. You know, Brian Ortega before he was a scrapper, but he wasn't a striker. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And in this fight, he looked like a striker.
I believe he was the underdog in this.
Yeah.
If I'm not right, yeah, he was the underdog in this shit. And I mean, the backstory behind this, for those that don't know, you know, there was kind of some shit talking going on online, I guess, on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
Korean Zombie's cool with Jay Park, so I guess it's like a Korean musician or
K-popper.
K-pop. And Jay Parks, I guess, was translating and kind of had his own little kind of put. I mean, we get it. Jay Parks is Team Zombie, like he's been said. Like, that's his homie. Of course, he's going to go for him. Of course, he's going to say he's going to beat Ortega. I guess Ortega didn't like some of the words being used or some of the words being translated or whatever the fuck it was.
So he slapped him.
But he slapped him. He caught him slipping at an event. The Korean Zombie went to the bathroom. Jay Parks was by himself in the audience. Ortega came down and slapped him.
Yeah.
So on one hand, you have you're a real ass nigga because when you seen him in person, you slapped him. But on the other hand, it's like, why'd you wait for Korean Zombie to go to the bathroom to do it?
Yeah, why'd you wait for the big homie to do it?
Right.
Yeah.
So this fight was supposed to be made a while ago, and then COVID hit. Mm-hmm. Fucked a lot of shit up. Ortega's last fight was 2 years ago, and it was when he got destroyed by Max Holloway.
He did. It was a 5-round fight, which he got destroyed, but he showed a lot of heart in that fight.
He showed a lot of heart, a lot of chin,
but he took a lot of damage as well.
He took a lot of damage. And then the other big thing about this fight, noticeable at least, was Ortega cut all of his hair off, skin, bald. And he's known for having the braids and having the long hair, and he donated it to kids for cancer and shit.
Yep.
So very, very
shout out to him, man.
Yeah, big props on that shit. Mm-hmm. Korean Zombie was going into this fight. Most people thought that Zombie would probably have the advantage on the hands, Ortega would probably have the advantage on the ground. But they're both pretty good. Like Ortega has pretty good hands, and Zombie has pretty good ground game. He did the twister, obviously one of the first people to pull that off.
Ortega kept fucking that fool with that jab. He kept snapping his head back.
He was just piecing him up, man. And very calm, very patient. Didn't rush too much. Didn't do all kinds of flurries and kind of chase him around. Just pick the spots.
We got to talk about the game changer though. Round two.
Round two was the game changer. That spinning elbow from hell. Oh my god, bro!
Second one for fucking Korean Zombie,
bro. He caught him with he caught him with the when he caught his leg and socked him too and knocked him down off that shit. So it's kind of like he caught his leg off a kick and punched him, and Korean Zombie fell. But that elbow was so perfect, bro. Like Korean Zombie was coming in, missed, overextended, and fucking boom, dropped his ass, and then. That fool said he don't remember shit after that.
Yeah, Korean Zombie after he said he doesn't remember rounds 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. From the moment he got hit with that elbow, he said
and even when he was writing that night on IG, it was all fucked up.
Oh yeah. It sounded like
it sounded like he was
being translated, but it sounded like he was concussed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I was like, fuck, man. But I mean, it was a good fight, man.
And that's even crazier is that he lasted those rounds not knowing where the fuck he was.
He went off instinct.
I mean,
they don't get me wrong. He landed a couple good shots
for a reason. He did land a couple good shots on Ortega back. Mm-hmm. He had a moment or two where it looked like Ortega was hurt, or at least got wobbled enough to rethink it. Mm-hmm. But Ortega's piecing him up with the leg kicks, with the jabs, with the 2-3 hits at a time, 2-3 hits at a time.
And then it's just one hit. He's always changing it up.
And then he took him down a few times.
Yeah, you know, down with the one leg grab. Yeah. That was
just working him. It was just a beautiful all-around performance.
And I believe he moved on from the Gracies. I mean, they're still cool as far as I know. But he wanted to join another camp and kind of be more well-rounded as an MMA athlete. Ortega.
No, the Gracie was the one who couldn't go to the camp.
Oh, so
because he caught COVID.
Oh shit!
So he caught COVID, so he couldn't go with him. So that's why out of all the coaches, that was said, if I don't, you know what I mean, if I can't have one, I'd rather be my jiu-jitsu coach because that was been with him since day one, so he knows everything. So that's why all these new coaches are the ones who help.
But he listened. He listened to him. He stayed real calm. He didn't get too high or too low. It's like he was just always busy.
And he looked fresh.
And he looked fresh.
For 5 rounds, good to go. He looked fresh.
Now what he said afterwards on his little interview, you know what I'm saying? He's like, all my homies that roll with me. He's like, I love you. Everyone that counted me out, learn to count, motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. So
that's the meme of the month.
Yeah, he tried to do a walk off too, but DC Kid was like, "Hey, bro, come back here. I got to ask a couple more questions."
Yeah.
You know? But now from this fight, the word on the street is from Mr.
It's done.
Is that he's getting a title shot?
Yeah.
How y'all feeling about that, man? We got the rankings right here. Now Ortega somehow.
I definitely feel like Zabit is up there, but
I think it should be Zabit, man. This is what I don't understand. You get a title fight, and you got your ass whooped by Max Holloway. Not controversial. Destroyed 5 rounds. Yeah, you didn't get knocked out, but you got destroyed. Then you don't fight at all for 2 years, and you fight the number 4 or 5 guy coming back and you beat him, is that an automatic title shot? When Zabit has been fighting this whole year, past couple years, he's fought some top comp and finished
Jeremy
people.
Stevens.
Yeah, and he's been finishing people. I think it's only right Zabit gets the next title shot.
I think what happened was he didn't want that 5-round fight last time.
Yeah.
So I think that's what.
Well, he's going into a 5-rounder now with Volkanovski.
But he was a main event.
Yeah,
and it should have been.
It's going to be the main event too.
But he declined it, is what I'm saying. So that might have fucked it up for him and Dana.
Who declined it?
Zabit.
Yeah, he was.
Zabit declined the title shot.
No, he declined
a 5-round fight.
Yeah, instead of he negotiated
on his last fight.
Yeah, he negotiated to a 3-round instead of a 5-round.
Yep,
but he finished, dude, right?
Yeah,
or no.
Yeah.
His last fight, he finished, guy.
Yeah. And he said he wanted to show off that he was a striker and not just a wrestler, right?
But but to me, that just made it seem like he just.
Well, in that case, then I didn't know about that. So
yeah, and
if that's the case, then fuck it. Yeah, there goes your title shot, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, come on, bro. You have to be. You have to be willing to go 5 rounds, bro. Is it still going to be I don't know. It still feels. First of all, I don't know how Ortega maintained number 2 for 2 years without being lower and no one came higher than him. Because that's crazy. Because the division wasn't popping like how it is now.
Yeah, exactly.
But everybody has fought for the past 2 years. Everyone's had at least a couple fights in the past 2 years.
Yeah, Yair was probably like ranked 8 or 9 at that time. So he's just gone up.
I don't know. I don't see how you're not fighting for 2 years and you maintain your top position. I don't know. That's just weird to me.
I think
you should not even be on the list. Really, like
Zabit
after a
should
year.
fight Holloway for number 1 contender.
I agree on that one.
After the Ortega fight.
I agree on that one.
Winner.
Give Ortega the championship because it's going to happen already.
Yeah.
But I agree.
Plus, the UFC loves Ortega.
Yeah.
So that's
going to carry this.
I mean, you're looking at the rest of the division. I mean, right after that is Yair. I don't click on that dude. When was that dude's last fight?
He just fought.
Yeah.
He just fought recently.
Yeah.
Because he would be next in line. When was this?
Yeah. October.
That was a year ago, bro.
Over.
That was a year ago. Almost, a couple days over a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
So he hasn't fought for a while. Damn. What's up with the whole top 5 being inactive and shit?
I think he was healthy. I think he was hurt.
I guess you have no choice but to give Ortega because he can't go. Kreezabi just lost. I don't care. He's on the rise.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had a controversial
then you got
battle with Dan
who's new as well.
Yeah, none of these dudes deserve title shots. So I
That's
guess.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
Or you do what's right. And you bring back Triple C, bro. I think Triple C can beat Volkanovski. They're both little dudes. I mean, it's not like he's giving up that much of a size advantage.
Damn.
I mean, he can go for that 4th belt.
That's
true, but it's going to be a bigger fight, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll sell too.
Depending how Ortega.
King of Cringe, baby.
Damn.
King of Cringe.
Was a cat.
I don't want to see his dumbass manager no more, or whatever, his little trainer, or whatever. The little fucking golem, fucking little troll. Paulo Costa's boyfriend or whatever.
Ali?
No, not Ali. He's cool. The other dude with the little glasses.
Yeah, the little white glasses or whatever color he has on.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Boy, yeah. So I mean, that was a good comeback for Ortega. Dominant victory. 5 rounds, looking fresh. Like he can go even longer. I guess the next shot is him and Volkanovski for a title.
They say January. I think it was what it was looking like, January or February.
Yeah,
damn,
that seems possible. He looked good. He still looks.
Crazy.
He looks clean.
And now on to the big dogs of the night, man. Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko, bro.
Fight,
Let's
man.
go. Now, one thing to be noted before we get into it is on the other undercard, Edgar Berlanga. That was a Puerto Rican from New York.
Fat Joe's fighter.
Fat Joe's homie, you know what I'm saying? That fool was 14-0 with 14 knockouts coming into this, all first rounders. So every single fight he has in his professional career so far has been a first round knockout. He came into this fight fighting someone that he's had some losses, but he's never been stopped. So first round knockout again. Just note that out there. Yeah. The ref, I kind of feel like he might have stopped it a little early because technically the guy never went down to the floor, but there was like about 5-6 punches where he was just kind of just sitting there taking them. So I could kind of see it, but I think like it kind of felt like they were trying to preserve the hype of Berlanga. Like, oh, the first round, because I think it was inevitable that dude was going to get knocked the fuck out in the first round.
Yeah.
But the thing is, let him get knocked the fuck out in the first round, man. At least let him go down once, and then when he gets up, be like too wobbly to continue. Oh, no,
go down on the shield, man.
You know what I'm saying? But you give him that shot, you know. He was fighting back for a good amount of time, but then he took about like good 4 or 5. But Berlanga, though, I will say this. Being that his fights are so quick, it's hard to see what he really has to offer. But from what I've seen, I believe he's 168. So that's up there with Canelo, Charlo, you know what I mean, Andrade, Jacobs, boys. Yeah. But for what I do see, that dude looks like he has long ass arms. I don't know what his reach is, but just like the way he has long, lanky arms, and it doesn't seem like it kind of seems like Diaz punches where he's not like socking hella hard like a Tyson or a Tank Davis to get knockouts. He's just like pop, 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 and then dudes just get like wobbly, and then he loads up with like a straight, more so than looping punches. But like when he throws, they're kind of just like
straight power shot,
like locks and socks. You know what I mean? Like they're not a lot of strength, but it's just like everyone you see dudes starting to get wobbled. He busted this dude's nose and busted his eardrum. Oh. And not once did he like cock back and just like launch it at him.
Then that dude's equilibrium was all
so this dude just has natural heavy hands. I will be looking to see what he looks like in the future. He himself said he's still kind of building himself. Like he'll take any fight, but he was kind of like, I'm not ready for all them big boys yet. You know what I mean? Like
that means he ain't got no stamina.
It's a lot more into it, you know. You're not gonna keep running into people you can just knock out.
No, especially
so when the time comes
boys,
you can't knock someone out, then what do you have to offer?
Exactly.
You know, but
that's where technique comes in.
I mean, it's kind of the Wilder shit, you know. Wilder was used to knocking a whole bunch of people out, but when someone came to knock him out or started making him go backwards, he didn't know what to do anymore. He was used to being the guy that everyone ran from, and he found someone that wasn't scared to actually push him back. Same thing with Tyson, you know, when Tyson faced Lewis and if Holyfield, there was people that weren't scared of him. Like, fuck it, dog, knock me out there. Like, and it was like, it's kind of different going backwards and trying to get that power versus being able to just be a bully that everyone's like, oh shit, just don't knock me out. So we'll see how that goes. But on to the main event, man. I was looking forward to this fight for the whole year. It was supposed to be earlier this year, but obviously COVID happened. This is a big fight for 135 division. Probably the biggest fight. It was advertised as a 4-belt fight. Now, before we even get into this shit, let's talk about that fucking 4th belt. The WBC gave Lomachenko, after Lomachenko requested it, a WBC franchise belt. There's only 2 people in the history of boxing to ever have a franchise title, and that is Lomachenko and the originator, Canelo Alvarez. So the way it was originally made for Canelo was Canelo had a mandatory, Jamal Charlo. He didn't want to fight Jamal Charlo, but his excuse was, I'm going to fight a bigger fight. I'm going to fight like a Jacobs or Golovkin or a big fighter with a big name that's bigger than this mandatory. So the WBC made up a franchise status, which means you don't have to fight your mandatory, but you don't have that belt no more. So now Charlo has the belt, but you never really lost the belt. You gave it up because you wanted to pursue bigger fights. But then that fool went on and fought like Rocky Fielding, which, you know, whatever. Now, with Lomachenko, he was supposed to fight Devin Haney. He gave up. He hit up WBC, said, "Yo, you know that shit y'all did for Canelo? Can you do that for me too?" And they're like, "Yeah, here you go, franchise." The way it was originally explained is the franchise couldn't be won or lost. It was just like the money belt that they made for McGregor and Mayweather. They just made up a belt. That was WBC also. Mm-hmm. They just made up the money belt. It wasn't a real championship belt, but they made it all expensive with all the jewels and shit. Mm-hmm. So the franchise was the same thing. It was like a status you had saying that, yes, you were the WBC champion, but you didn't want to fight your mandatory, but you didn't lose. You just wanted to be able to do these bigger fights for your career. So Teofimo's not stupid. He has his ear to the streets. He's young. He's 23 years old. He's on social media. I know he's on all these platforms. He knows that the WBC franchise belt is not a real title. Mm-hmm. You know, after the fucking fight, he even said he'll fight Devin Haney to make it official that he's the best, because that's the one belt that's left is Devin Haney's. So let's go ahead and clear that up. Go ahead and get into the fight. I'll let y'all go ahead and handle that. What do y'all think of the fight, man?
Fuck, I thought it was crazy. I didn't expect it to be how it was. I thought from how it was built up, because I haven't really watched boxing. I've been out of the loop for a minute. It seemed like Loma was supposed to go in and dominate this dude, seeing him overthrow and just capitalize on it. But going into the first round, it was complete opposite. Lopez is what in there fucking headstrong, just I'm gonna walk you down, and it showed. It showed that he was just a lot stronger than Loma.
It was just dominance.
Yeah.
Like I don't really watch a lot of boxing. I'll be really honest. You know, I just started getting back into it because you got me back into it. But you know, it's just like how Fat Boy was saying. Like Loma was supposed to be the big guy, you know, and this dude was supposed to be the underdog, and he wasn't supposed to win, especially at that caliber. You know,
I mean, Loma's had all the hype for years, bro.
Yeah,
like for years.
And even on his gloves, it says 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yes,
it's like it's like there's no reason to put that other than hype.
Yeah, I mean, now give him credit. I believe, I could be mistaken, but I'm only saying that because it sounds so crazy. But I believe he had like 400 plus amateur fights and 1 loss. Lomachenko.
I think they were saying something.
Yeah, that fool fought over 400 times and only lost once, and then avenged that loss twice in amateurs. Then amateurs also include, the Olympics, because you can only be an amateur going to Olympics. No professional fighters. So he won the Olympics twice, which means Olympics only come every 4 years. So for 8 years, he was still an amateur. Mm-hmm. And so when he became a pro, he was already an amateur, probably the number one amateur legend out of anybody. Triple G also had a really good amateur career. Teofimo, someone else, I believe, that fought almost 400 times and lost maybe like less than 10. So he had a great amateur career. But to lose once?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? So this was a legend. Once he chooses to go pro, I believe it was his 4th fight, he got a title shot already. Because he's a legend. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming out. And he won those couple fights. Now, he lost to Salido. A lot of people feel like it was a bad decision. I believe all 3 judges don't judge no more. Got suspended or some shit for that. Shit. Salido did hit him with a lot of low blows, but the ref wasn't calling him.
Oh.
So he kind of roughed him up, Mexican style. Roughed him up, put him in the corner, did what he had to do. Now, Loma lost that fight. Was the only loss of his career up to tonight. Until this fight. But he got a title shot coming off a loss, which was already something we never seen. Because the WBO has a rule that you cannot, the WBO has a rule that you cannot fight for a title if you're coming off a loss. But they made an exception for Lomachenko because 1, it was a controversial decision. 2, he was an amateur legend trying to get this thing. So, other than Clarissa Shields in women's, out of all men in any weight division ever, except for this one dude that just recently beat him, he's the fastest to get a championship. Damn. In number of fights professionally.
That's right.
So he has that going for him. He's got a championship in 3 divisions already. He has that going for him. He's naturally probably more of a 130, 126, but he went up to 135. He started getting all these fucking belts. So like you guys said, the hype behind Loma was he's the Matrix. You can't hit him. His angles. He would beat Mayweather. He'd beat Pacquiao. He'd do all the hype was all this behind Loma, but up to this point, he kind of never really had big fights. I try to tell people in boxing, not all champions are made the same, right? If Mike Tyson has a belt and Billy Bob Joe has a belt in heavyweight too, but he lives down the street, yeah, they're both champions. You can say I beat Billy Bob Joe. Like, this nigga had a belt. He's not the same as Mike Tyson. They're not built the same. So Loma was kind of, I'm going to say, for the most part, he was kind of cherry picking because there was a lot of good fights for him out there to fight. But he was, he was fighting dudes that are maybe like B, C tier, coming off losses, hadn't fought in a year and a half, like those kind of cherry picks.
Oh, okay.
His biggest wins were Rigondeaux, right, from Cuba. That dude's really, and Rigondeaux was calling him out when they were in the same weight division. So, Loma went from 126, 130, 135. He finally decides to fight Rigondeaux, who's a 126er, 2 weight classes above. So Rigondeaux said, fuck it. Cuban dude came up 2 weight classes, got his ass whooped. Quit on the stool. Nicholas Walters, another big fight, another big champion, Jamaican dude. He hadn't fought for a year and a half. And the fight previous that he had last fought was like not a good one. So he comes back, but he's a name. Lomachenko makes him quit. That's why they started calling him Nomaschenko and shit, because he was making dudes quit. They couldn't fuck with him. He was doing flurries, moving around them, be on the side of him over here, peekaboo on the side of him over here, and motherfuckers was just getting fucked up. So his hype was well earned as far as his skill set. He can do shit we never seen. But as far as who he was fighting, people were like, Well, let's wait till he gets that big fight. Let's wait till he gets that big fight.
We found it.
And Lopez, 23 years old, knocking people the fuck out. Just came off knocking out Comey. Everybody thought Comey was going to beat Lopez. Lopez knocks him out in the second round. Automatically sets this fucking fight up. Now, Lopez's dad is another boxer dad that is very loud. Very, my son's going to knock everyone the fuck out type dude. Yeah. They're from New York, you feel me? So his dad had already told Loma like 2 years ago, my son's coming for you and he's going to knock your ass out. Here he told him in the hotel lobby one time. So there's beef behind this fight. So going into it, a lot of people weren't expecting, like you guys said, for Lopez just to dominate at least the first half. So we'll say up to round 6, I had 1 through 6 Lopez.
I had 1 through 7 Lopez.
I had it 1 through 6, but it looked iffy, so it was like up in the air for me. You know, it could have been 7.
Because you're thinking like Loma's gonna come on at some point, right? Like that's what I'm thinking. One thing I noticed, the announcer, I forgot what the dude's name is, but not Ward or Tim Bradley, but the announcer dude. He was fucking sucking Loma's dick so hard the first round and a half of the fight, even when he was losing. This one was saying, "Oh, Loma's so good at beating you mentally, even when he doesn't throw punches." It's like, what do you mean, dog? Like, this nigga's losing the fucking fight. Like, oh, he'll drain you without even if he only throws 2 punches.
Yeah, I even think he said something about his feint, setting his feints up and watching and watching him move, and I was like, Lopez isn't falling for any of his feints. Yeah,
like somehow you get points for that, bro. Like, you're losing, dog. Now Andre Ward had scored the second round for for Lomachenko. And then I believe on ESPN, Max Kellerman, whose opinion I respect because he's been around boxing for a long time, he also said that the closest rounds were the 2nd and the 7th. Now, the 2nd I had clearly for Teofimo. When I scored this shit live. I have it on my phone, my little scorecard. And so I went back and I had notes on rounds that I thought were close. When I went back, the second round was like easy. So we just watched the second round before we did this shit. We all gave it to Teofimo. Yep. Easy. Like, not even close. The other, the 2 rounds that I personally had noted as being close rounds was the 7th and the 9th. The 7th was mentioned by Max Kellerman as being a very close round. We watched the 7th. I gave it...
It was a tough round, but I give it to Lopez.
You give it Lopez? I gave it to Lomachenko.
I had gave it to Lomachenko, but after rewatching it, I would have to give it to Lopez.
See, so it was so close... It's everyone agrees it was close. Now on the judges' scorecards, if you could pop those up, all 3 judges gave the 7th round to Lopez. So
off the top, he wasn't going to win that fight.
So off the top, yes, all 3 judges had the first 7 rounds going to Lopez, which means there's no way it could be a draw without a knockdown, and that Lomachenko is going to have to at least knock him down, if not knock him out.
Yep.
The 8th, I think we all agree, was Lomachenko.
Oh yeah, that's where he started going, in my opinion.
But one of the judges did give it to Teofimo. Now, at the end, let's just go ahead and just talk about this fucking judge, Julie Letterman. This is Harold Letterman's daughter. Harold Letterman is the infamous or famous, however you want to look at him. He was the official HBO scorecard dude for all the years you ever watched those fights on HBO. And now to Harold Letterman. Yeah, he was the guy on the end. I got it, blah, blah, blah. So this is his daughter. She had the most atrocious scorecard out of the whole thing. She had Teofimo winning 11 rounds, bro. Now, I think Teofimo won the fight. I don't think he won 11 rounds.
No.
So that's a very bad judgment. But we all feel like Loma won the 8th. Now it comes the 9th round. Once again, a round we thought were close, so all 3 of us watched the 9th round again. How do you guys have the 9th round scored?
I feel like Loma threw more punches, but they weren't really like
effective.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like the punches that Lopez threw were more like,
power shots.
Exactly, and they landed more and harder. So I had given that round to Lopez.
Yep.
And I give it to Lopez also. So us 3 gave it to Lopez. As far as the judges, 2 of them gave it to Lopez, 1 of them gave it to Loma. But it was a close round.
Yep.
Because if you're going by points, Loma probably did land more shots. He landed the little 3 flurries in the clinch. He caught him with a couple, 2 or 3 right there. But like you said, every time like Lopez would go to the body or catch him with that uppercut coming in, it made him stop. You could hear the thud, which I love about not having fans. You can hear all the punches. You can hear all the punches. But the 9th, I felt, was a very close round. And out of the judges themselves, it was 2-1. So obviously it was close enough where not all judges saw it the same. And then 10 and 11, I gave the Loma.
Yeah.
The shit judge gave the 10 also to Teofimo, which I don't see how. The 11th was obviously Loma. And then it came down to the 12th. Now, for anybody at this point in time that might have had one of these other rounds for Loma the other way, he needed this 12th.
Yeah.
You know, if you feel like Lopez won the first 6, and then a lot of people feel like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th that Loma won, even though like we kind of feel differently. The 7th being a close round, 9th being a close round, but 8, 10, 11, we all think Loma for sure. So 7 and 9 kind of being close, even if someone's a Lomachenko fan and they're giving the bias of like, no, I think he got that, I think he got that. Cool. He needs to win the 12th.
Yeah.
What it comes down to.
Or get a knockdown.
Something. But the 12th, Teofimo came out and said, fuck it, bro.
Yeah.
Let's chunk him.
Yup, be in the middle.
Let's chunk him. Teofimo's dad tried to tell him, hey, we got this, just box.
Just go out there.
Teofimo's smart, bro. If he was, I'm just saying, Teofimo's smart, bro, because for one, Lomachenko is an ESPN fighter. This was on ESPN for free, not ESPN Plus, on ESPN, right? And not only that, you never know with these decisions. You know that sometimes these good champions, these famous dudes get good decisions they don't deserve.
Yep.
So you can't play it safe like that. You can't pull De La Hoya on Trinidad when that fool just, stayed away the 12th round thinking he won and ended up losing because of that shit. So Teofimo came out there, was chunking him.
Yep.
Like throwing heavy leather. But Lomachenko was not being no bitch either.
No,
he knew he needed that. He knew he needed that.
But he wobbled him.
Yeah,
he was fucking him up.
Yeah.
They wobbled each other.
See,
too.
but so here comes the controversy, right? We saw it with our own eyes.
The headbutts.
The headbutts. Lomachenko was headbutting, but they were smart. They weren't like fucking Victor Ortiz Mayweather headbutts.
Yeah.
But they were smart where he just come into clinch and kind of move his head. He was a shorter fighter, so a lot of it was going on the chin and shit anyway. And but that's that smart savvy from being such a champion and amateur. You know how to get away with a couple little things here and there without being seen. But he was headbutting him throughout the fight. Teofimo, I believe him and his dad warned the ref ahead of time before the fight, looking at all his other fights that he headbutts. And then through the fight, I think Teofimo said it like 2-3 times.
Yeah,
he's headbutting me. Like he's
could
headbutting
have easily
me.
been a point deduction.
Could have been. So at the end of the 12th, Teofimo's teeing off on Loma. Looks like he kind of has him hurt, a little wobbly. Loma's retreating and trying to clinch. Teofimo's chunking him. They headbutt. Teofimo landed some big blows. The judge says, hold up, with 15 seconds left in the fight.
It was 14.
14 left in the fight.
And then they let it run off to 10.
They let it run off to 10 when it came back.
Once he called time at 14, but the person controlling the fucking clock let it run out to 10. So they fucked 4 seconds off that clock.
4 seconds off that clock. And then they stopped it with 15 seconds left when it looks like Teofimo possibly could have knocked him down, if not out. But at least down, it looked like. He was going to at least get to him to make
at
him
least
hit
put
the
him away.
canvas. Yeah. Even if he didn't knock him out and it didn't stop the fight, at least knock him down. And then maybe after the 10 count, the round's over.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he had caught him with a hook and he was wobbly.
Oh, he was wobbly. He was wobbly.
And then that's when they.
And he was hitting him to the body punch that folded him over.
Yeah.
He almost touched his toes on that shit. He hit him so hard in the body. So to me, it was very like, what? Like, I understand the dude was bleeding, but to stop the fight, to have the doctor come look at the cut, like, what were you thinking?
The doctor didn't even say nothing. The doctor
he was like, it's cool, man.
Go.
Like, nobody's tripping but you, nigga. Like, it kind of seemed like they saved Lomachenko right there. Because I'm just saying, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
I don't think the ref was maybe aware of the time because the little hadn't happened yet. It did when they came back. But like you said, they shaved like 4 or 5 seconds off the clock. In 15 seconds, couple extra seconds, because at the end, as soon as it came back, Lopez went right after him again. And then Loma was kind of going, and then Lopez was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah.
5 more seconds, it could have been ugly. If it never got stopped with the whole 15 with where he had him already, it could have been ugly.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Lopez, 23 years old, and took on the challenge of
He's a young
Lomachenko.
gun, man.
Now, the controversy comes. All Loma fans and a lot of boxing fans say that Loma deserves a rematch.
No.
Being that he was such a great champion, had all the belts.
Nah.
I
mean, when you get put away like that at the highest caliber, man, and then you you don't show up, man, you don't deserve a rematch.
And not only that,
I get if the fight was close and you know what I mean, like it was a little bit of a controversy. All right, let's do the rematch.
There's really people out there that think it was a draw that Loma won by round.
No,
I don't see how that happens.
No,
I don't see how that happens at all.
No,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's dumb.
Those people are just the dick riders, you know.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, if anything, I think Loma, from what you said, has given already too many like.
I
chances,
think the
so
best scorecard was Steve Weisfield.
Okay,
that's how I had it.
Yeah,
you know, I had
it 116, 112, like Tim Cheatman or whatever. But I didn't have the same rounds. But I had 8-4. Mm-hmm. You know, but this dude had 9-3, and this bitch had 11-1. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what
11-1. She needs to go back and
the two corner cards are most relevant.
Yeah, and I mean, even so, we admit that the 7th and the 9th were close, and some people say the 2nd was close. We don't think it was close at all, but some people say that the word's out there. So even if you gave Loma 1 out of those first 6, and you give him the back 5, at the best, it's a draw because no matter what, Teofimo wins the 12th. So you can't say Loma won. There's no way anyone can say Loma won. Mm-hmm. There's not even an argument to make. If there was one more round that was close, maybe you could say he won by a round because that could have been. But like clearly, everyone knows that Lopez won 1. Clearly, everyone knows he won 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2, people say it's close. We don't feel it's close at all, but some people say it is. And then 7 and 9, we feel it's close. Mm-hmm. 8 and 10, 10, 11, for sure Loma. For sure Loma got 3 rounds, and for sure Teofimo got 6, including the 12th. And everything after that could kind of be close. Mm-hmm. But it can't be Loma with a win in any kind of way.
Yeah, no.
So, but the funny part about that shit is, so people are also saying because Loma did take a pay cut, they were having negotiation issues. You know, Teofimo wanted more money. He knew how big of a fight it was. Plus, you know, he wanted to be compensated for not having fans and having a pay-per-view where they get extra money from the ticket sales and the pay-per-view. So Loma took a little bit less money to give it to Teofimo for him to agree, and they did that. But Loma's still losing this fight. Loma made still double of what Teofimo made.
Oh, I bet.
Just off that. And Loma himself didn't want to put the rematch clause in this agreement. He didn't want to put the rematch clause because he thought he would win and he didn't want to have to fight him again.
Damn.
But that backfired on him because he lost. So now that you lost, bro, suck it up. You ain't getting a rematch.
That's how it goes.
You didn't want to give him one because you thought you were going to whoop him and you didn't want to give him a second chance. And so there wasn't one in there. He doesn't have to give you one. Now you got to get back in line, and you got to get back in line for these title shots. Mm-hmm. Now here comes the aftermath. What we talked about, the Devin Haney shit. Teofimo knows Devin Haney has a real WBC. Everyone calls Devin Haney the email champ, the paper champ, because Loma vacated his title. There was a fight for it. Haney won, and I believe Haney's defended it twice or once already. Mm-hmm. When Haney got injured, his shoulder, he had to have shoulder surgery. They were going to make him a champion in recess so that someone else could still fight for that belt. But then COVID happened. So since they weren't going to be fighting anyway, they said, all right, Haney, you're still the champ. Now, Haney had his surgery. He's been out for over a year. He's about to fight Gamboa next in about a couple weeks in December. No, I'm sorry. November 7th or some shit. He's fighting Gamboa, who just fought Tank Davis. Tank Davis knocked him out in the 12th round. So this is going to see where he's at. I personally am not a fan of people losing and getting title shots.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Gamboa's coming off a knockout loss, and he gets a shot at the WBC, at Devin Haney. But I do understand in this particular instance, both of them are coming off injury because Gamboa tore his Achilles, Devin Haney tore his shoulder. They both haven't fought for about a year. And so I think this is a good tune-up fight for Devin Haney because Gamboa is no slouch. He's definitely not in his prime, but he's no slouch. Mm-hmm. Now, if Haney beats Gamboa, from what I saw on the internet, Devin Haney and Teofimo already FaceTimed each other and said that that's the next fight to make.
There it is.
That if Devin Haney wins, he'll be fighting Teofimo for the championship for all belts in the 135 division. That's crazy. That's what he'd be fighting for.
That's crazy.
And that'll be the real, true
undisputed
champ. Undisputed. Because they're trying to say this shit's undisputed, but that franchise don't count. Tank Davis also has, I believe it's the WBO regular championship, but they do a super championship, which was the one that was fought this time. Now, I like the way they do their shit because it's not like a franchise. To get that super championship, I believe you need like 10 title defenses or some shit. and then they upgrade you to super champ, so you can kind of pick and choose your big fights because it's proven that you're a dominant champion. So that makes sense. But in that division, we got Loma. If he chooses to come back, he might drop down to 130 because he's having a problem with these big guys. He came up, he had a problem with Linares, got dropped. He had a problem with Luke Campbell, which was his last fight, and he said that was the hardest fight of his career because Luke Campbell was long. Teofimo was obviously bigger, longer, and I was really surprised how quick he was, just popping that jab out, so he might drop back down to 130, 126, and down there he's got Shakur Stevenson, he's got Miguel Burchelt, and he's got Jamil Herring, one division down. But he still could be a player in 135. But in 135 for sure, you have Tank Davis, who's knocking everyone the fuck out. He's fighting Leo Santa Cruz next, which is a little guy, so whatever. But great fight. Santa Cruz only lost one time. Pure Mexican fighter, just comes and chunks them all 12 rounds, never gets tired. He has a good chin, but we'll see how that fight goes. Because Tank has problem making weight. That's why he left the 130 division. Santa Cruz came up from 126. And Tank came back down from 135 to meet at 130 for them to fight. But once again, a lot of these fights are coming back from COVID, so they're fights that maybe we wouldn't normally want to see. But if you haven't fought for a fucking year, might as well,
Let's get it.
But you have Ryan Garcia, 135. Ryan Garcia is a young stud. We see what he's doing. He's knocking niggas the fuck out.
He'll get dropped.
And he's fighting Luke Campbell next in December, who Lomachenko said was his toughest fight before this, his last fight. Good, strong white boy from England. Biggest step up for Ryan Garcia in his career so far. So you got Luke Campbell. You got Ryan Garcia. Both of them said they wanted a piece of Devin Haney after their fight. But if Haney's going to fight Teofimo, got to fight someone else. You got Tank. You got Teofimo. You got Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? You still got Richard Comey, even though he got knocked out by Teofimo. He's still a solid dude that can knock people the fuck out. So this division is packed with big fights. All these dudes should be fighting each other. I don't want to see none of these dudes fighting no-namers. None of them. From here on out, each person has about 5-6 people they can fight. A couple rematches if the fights are good.
Time to cut that pack down.
Time to get it, baby. So the 135 division has exploded. Nobody thought this would happen. Teofimo was an underdog, and everyone, I saw a fucking 20-minute video on YouTube of just an interviewer asking a whole bunch of different people, and there was like 5 people said Teofimo will win. Everyone said Lomachenko. So, great fight. I think it lived up to the hype and more. Shout out Teofimo.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Mixta Boyz out.